April.
Hey, George, I bet we had way more fun this weekend than you did.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you got more sleep than I got.
Oh, you had fun, didn't you, George?
We were up late every night. Bands were playing. We went to one show, the band started at 10.
Oh, God.
Right?
Like you're in Europe.
What's that? No, New Orleans. New
I know,
Orleans.
but it's like in Spain, they don't, they have dinner at 10
9
and
o'clock, right?
yeah, and then they go all night long and finish up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm too old for that.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you're back.
Well, I'm glad it went well. I heard it went smooth as silk, so that was really good news.
Who knew?
I didn't.
I
First
didn't.
time in a long time.
Yes.
Hi, Howard. Hi, Leslie.
No.
You're muted, Miss Leslie. No, you're muted.
No, I'm not.
Hello.
I'm sorry. I hope that wasn't assessor related because I missed your discussion. If it wasn't
No,
assessor
no.
related, I can just ignore it.
Just talking about town meeting.
Okay. So we're all here. I'm assuming Howard's ready to open the meeting. Maybe he's muted. I don't.
No, I don't see any microphone or anything for Howard.
Okay. Well, while he's working, I'm going to try and get my screen bigger there, and I can see him.
Howard, can you hear us? No, I don't think he can hear us.
I don't think
No,
so.
he's connecting. Now he's connecting.
Right now, he's doing it. He's
There we
working.
go.
No,
No,
he's
he's
got it
gonna.
on mute. Hi, Howard. It's breaking up. A lot of static.
Can you hear us?
I just lost the image.
Oh, well, we can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Okay, that's
We
great.
can see you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I can hear you kind of. Is that true? Yeah, okay. So we can start the meeting now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
that's
fine.
great.
The sound is strange. I don't quite know why. Okay, I'm going to open the meeting. What do I do now? Present. Present are board members April Stein and George Arvanitis, Chairman Howard Spetner, Assessors Clerk Leslie Bracebridge, and Town Administrator Becky Torres. David is not here. I assume he's not going to be around for a while. I take it he's taking care of his wife. The first item on the agenda is to review and approve the meetings from March 20th.
Yes.
Has everybody had a chance to look at those?
Yeah. Let me go get those.
Okay. Okay. Are there any questions
No, the only
about
thing
any questions about the
No,
minutes?
it's fine. Just the very end, I just saw the I don't know, Leslie, if you care, but the numbering, it goes from item 8 to item 13. I didn't know if you
Oh, I
wanted to.
do care about that. Thank you very much. I will correct that.
And then
Huh.
And then respectfully submitted as approved on, seems to be missing the date that you did it, but I mean, those are minor things.
No, because you approve it. This is the draft, and I always leave that blank until the
Oh, I
meeting
see.
approved.
Right.
And
Sorry.
now I'll fill it in if
Yeah.
it's approved tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
though,
all I
for
need.
finding the edits. I appreciate it.
No, they look great.
So I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I just
Okay, so,
closed that off my screen. Wait a minute, there you are.
okay, so I move that we accept the minutes.
Second,
Whoa. Yes,
Okay. Spetner, aye.
Arbanettis, aye.
and Stein, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the motor vehicle abatement certificates. Technically, we don't actually have to do that. And the reason is that we've already given, as I understand it, we've given approval for Leslie to go ahead and put our signature stamps on those, which
Yes.
means that we've approved, we're basically allowing them to approve them.
Yeah, I was going to
Is that-
say, if there's any
Um,
question, I asked David too,
Yeah.
and that he had a question, we would bring it to you.
It all looked pretty straightforward.
Yeah, to me too.
Okay.
The usual
Um,
reasons.
Okay. So we're just basically going to skip that. And on
That's
the
fine
agenda
with
is to review and approve the CPA and the,
I was going
Okay.
to say on the motor vehicle ones, I was only going to say that we had this slowing down. We had 7 in March and 3 in April. And you'll see them on the reports.
Mm-hmm.
okay. The next item is to review and approve the CPA and the real estate the personal exemptions for real estate taxes. We do have to approve those because we haven't given Leslie and David blanket approval for those. So for March, there were none, and for April, for both the CPA and the exemption, that's one person. That's Leslie Serrier. And we haven't actually seen those, but because those are not, Leslie, those are the certificates.
Applications are
Are we
not,
allowed to see, can we,
assessors are all allowed to see them. We do not bring them up. We do not discuss them at the meetings, the applications, because they're not public documents. The
okay,
certificates,
that's what okay, they're not,
public information. And the certificates,
Okay.
if you wanted to see them, I can hold them up in front of you on the screen. They're just the DOR certificates that contain the information that is public. It's form
Okay,
147.
okay,
David has, I've reviewed them.
okay.
gave
And we're
David
just
the
approving,
certificates.
So what's
does
this?
anybody, yeah, we're basically going to approve the we're being asked to approve the exemption, the CPA exemption and the 41C exemption for Leslie Serrier.
Remind me what a 41C is?
41C,
And David and Leslie have both gone over and they say it's fine.
41C is the senior exemption.
It's a low income exemption, right?
That's a simple way to put it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's low income. It's not the same as the means testing.
that's correct. Those
Okay.
will start dealing with this summer again, those
Okay.
applications. And in fact, later in this meeting, I've gone over the application that I proposed for this year, reviewed it with David. There were certain things that would have been helpful to have right on it last year. Howard also reviewed it. He called in and we went over the changes. He added some helpful information. And the final proposed draft version was in your packet. Well, I don't think it was the original packet. It came later.
Okay.
When we get there, we'll talk about it. But this is for the statutory 41C and the CPA, which you could do together as separate, but I'll put you down for having approved both of them.
Okay, so does anybody have any questions about this one, the one exemption that we need to approve for Leslie Sirrier?
No.
No.
Okay, so I move that we approve the CPA, those CPA and personal exemption certificates.
And I'll second that.
Okay, and I vote aye.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the accountant reports. Those are the March and April reports for the ones that we just voted on, her CPA and her exemption, and also the motor vehicle certificates from March and April. We're approving the accountant reports now. Does anybody have any questions about those?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
you-
I move
you'll
that we accept the
take
accountant
one
reports.
Large
Approve.
one for all of the different reports, and then I'll just
Yeah,
put
we're-
your signatures on for all of them.
Okay, that would be great.
You
Yes.
saw them all.
Okay,
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
okay. Okay, so I move that we accept those reports, approve those
I'll second
reports.
that.
Okay, I vote
Thank
aye.
you.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to review and approve the motor vehicle, the 30R motor vehicle commitment, which is, I don't understand. Apparently the 30R is what threw me. Apparently that has something to do with the way Ellen is doing her numbering with the new computer system. But
May
this
I-
is basically
I was going to
Sorry?
say this for calendar year 23. It is a standard motor vehicle recommitment that Ellen has done for years. The new VADAR system, which is the system that takes our information and manipulates it to make Ellen's bills, couldn't use her standard system, which was 20, 30, 40. They told her she had to use 30R. So it's nothing that we've never done before. It's just that VADAR needed that terminology. We're getting fewer and fewer rebills anymore because of the way that the Registry of Motor Vehicles is handling, is having towns handle their motor vehicle excise now. We no longer stamp, if we know somebody lives in another town, we no longer stamp them and say abated in full rebill. That system is going away, and that's why we only have this one, and it's from 2023. There's still a few towns that haven't switched over yet. It's standard.
Mhm.
I keep getting a message that says like low network bandwidth and unstable connection. And I'm also having trouble with, I keep getting pauses. Is anybody else having that problem? Is it just me?
I think
No, I'm not.
it's your turn.
Okay.
Yeah. There
Okay,
you go.
fine, something's going.
So
Okay.
frustrating.
It's much- Okay, I'm not the only person this happens to. I feel much better.
No,
Okay.
no, not at all.
Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. Is there anything to be done about it since it happens to other people? Do we just wait for it to pass, as all things do? I mean,
Well, sometimes I've
Okay.
gone out of a meeting and then come back in and it's helped.
Yes.
That,
Or rebooting a computer, turning your
It gets-
computer off and on. Yeah, those are the things that I would do.
or throw your
Okay.
computer across the room.
No, I stopped doing that. That got to be expensive after a while.
Yes.
okay.
All right, so anyway,
Okay.
as in the past, we put your stamped signatures, that was more notification and authorizing. You know, we get this information from Ellen. There's nothing we can do to change it. It's correct as far as everybody knows.
Oh, yes.
The first commitment, the big one, I always want you to be aware of before we stamp it, but this is just more letting you know. And I don't have to let you know,
Okay.
but until
Well,
you
I
guys
appreciate
say, yeah, I think it's helpful for you to keep on top of things.
I
I
am
agree.
surprised to see that there's a commitment from 2023 that's happening in May of 24.
Well, that's because this is 3 abatements. One individual, she moved from Athol to Shutesbury. It took Athol until I might have to go into the file to look, to realize that she didn't live in Athol. And then when we get them, we had tried to always bundle them. Ellen had tried to not make one commitment for one person. But it turns out things are changing. We're not getting these rebills anymore. And all of a sudden we thought we should get this done. That's the explanation, if that's helpful.
That is helpful. No, that makes sense. She moved
Yeah.
from one town to another, and then the paperwork had to catch up with her.
Yep. And we welcome it. You know, why wouldn't we? It's
No, more revenue?
$250 that instead of Athol getting, we're getting.
Oh, absolutely.
We need every penny.
Yeah, we do. And, you know, money from previous year, that's going right into free cash. I mean, that's going to end up in free cash, which is wonderful.
Well, that's where your expertise comes in. I don't know that stuff, but that's great.
Yes. Back to savings.
Well, you know, yeah, exactly. It gives us money for savings when people start buying equipment and things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in retrospectively, you can approve that I put your stamps on if you want to, but otherwise it's just informational.
Appreciate the information.
I don't believe the wording says that you voted at such and such a meeting as. No, it doesn't say you voted. Given under our hands this 3rd day of April. That's when I got the information from Ellen, and she recommitted it to the person who is now living in Shutesbury. Rebuild it to the person in Shutesbury. So then if you want to move on, the next one is the revised means tested senior exemption application. There was some things like George points out, you got to have all your numbers straight. You got to have everything on the right line. What wasn't the major thing that was not on last year's application was the assets. Though it said on the information page we needed their assets, I ended up having to contact the people who didn't automatically send them and ask them to send it. So on the back of the new application, I've just copied straight off of the state applications, the 41Cs and the 17Ds. I used their format on the back of ours so that they can list their assets for us. And on the front side, I said, please fill out the back.
Yeah, so
no, that was really clear.
well, I might not be looking at the right document then, because I'm looking at the means testing and I see the front page says means testing senior program, and then town of Shutesbury means testing real estate exemption, and then I see what looks like an application. Oh, here we go. Got it.
And the 4th page.
You're right. I was in the old one. I wasn't in the new one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry
that's
about
right.
that.
It was smart of Howard to say to me, please send the old one so we can see where the changes are.
Yeah.
Made it a little easier to understand.
So
Okay, so on that last page,
that's okay. Keep going, Howard. I'll ask later.
okay, fine. So on that last page, I have a couple of questions about the list of assets. It says the amount due on the mortgage values. What does that mean? Is that like principal remaining on the mortgage? Is that what that's
Yeah.
asking for?
I believe so.
That's how I would have interpreted it.
People interpreted it.
Right. But Howard's, you're making a good point, right? We're interpreting it. Is calling it current mortgage balance easier for people to understand? Because some people are going to see amount due on mortgage and say, oh, my mortgage is $2,000 a month.
The
Well, that's
outstanding.
why we're going over this, and I really appreciate anything you guys do to make it better. So what's the new wording you would say?
Oh,
Outs-
I would say, current balance, current mortgage
Okay.
balance.
Or outstanding balance of mortgage.
And that would include any, what do you call it?
I have a different question.
Yeah, anyway, go ahead. I'll think of it. Brain cramp.
I have a different question, which is why do we need to know this?
And
Why are we
I've
asking
often
for it?
wondered too, as I say, I just took it straight from 41C. I never have used it as an asset because it doesn't count. I don't know why it shows up on all of the statutory
Ah.
applications, and I'm not qualified to say it shouldn't be there or that it should.
Actually,
Yeah,
Howard, that's a
You're
really
right.
good
Oh.
point.
I
Why
agree.
don't-
In
yeah.
fact, so both, I mean, actually the whole line, I mean, real estate location and assessed valuation are on Schedule CB. We're going to have that regardless.
well, the only question, yeah, the only reason we would need the loan balance is if the asset was valued
Yes.
at
No.
its net value, not at its, that's the only reason why it would be useful. If, yeah, you got a $300,000 home, but if you got a mortgage for 200,000, is your net asset value 100,000?
Right. Or the question that occurs to me is, let's say you owe $300,000 on your mortgage, and you may have small values in your bank accounts and all these other assets. That means you may be even in the negative for your assets. So I don't know if it would be used for, when I add up the assets, I ignore that on all of them.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm not doing it right, but I do go over these with our administrative assessors.
Well, it does say, to include your assets other than your primary residence.
Right.
So that's really not our business.
Except that if you only have very few assets, let's say $50,000 in assets, and you have a mortgage that's 300,000, you're kind of running in the negative,
Yeah.
aren't you?
Yes.
I don't know. I depend on George and people like Becky. It's like money-minded people.
Well,
So do you really get the net the net value of the home? Or,
I never calculate it. No one ever has it that's supervised me.
but you ask questions about the mortgage on the forms.
Correct. And I copied that straight from the statutory application.
Can we ignore the statutory application because they have no relevance here?
I didn't quite hear it, but
I
maybe
think
others
They just don't matter.
ignore it.
They don't matter. The statutory applications don't matter.
Right.
So why don't we just delete that
I
line?
mean,
until
I mean, this is up to us. Okay, this is our decision.
Right.
yeah,
Okay,
I
this-
agree. I agree with Howard's
Yeah, do it.
recommendation
Delete the
too.
line.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna delete that section
Okay.
and just start with personal estate,
Just
bank
go
accounts,
straight-
name and address of bank. We'll just add those up. If it's more
Ex-
than 250, then it comes to you guys.
Except if wouldn't we include the real estate if it was somebody's second home?
Yeah.
So that would be, so we would need the real estate valuation of a second home.
Yeah, I mean,
That's right.
so call it other homes, because there's other personal property at the bottom, but not other homes or,
Yeah.
oh,
How about if under real estate, it says location and then parentheses S, because there are two lines there. And you would list your home or are you saying skip the first one, second home real
Yeah.
estate location?
Yes. If
Other
any,
real property. Other real property, because it could be land, it could be a second home.
That's right. Yep. Okay,
so how about under real property? Yeah, a second, but making it clear that it's for a second home.
Well,
Well,
how about, yeah, other real property, bracket,
property.
second home, comma, land, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
other real
Yes.
property, that'll be the heading, and then it'll be location. Or we could say community, if that's clearer, because it might not be in Shutesbury.
Or maybe address.
Location, yeah, address, that would work. So that'll, real property will be the title, just like personal estate.
Yes,
And then
yes.
the 3 lines will be, what was?
Location, address.
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 And maybe just in brackets, other real property, including a second home.
Second homes and
What
Land.
else
land.
would it be? And land, that's all it would be.
As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I would put it as a second home, comma, land, comma, or land, dot, 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 because who knows what somebody might come up with.
Yep.
Somebody might own a commercial building. I don't know. I mean, what if somebody has a commercial building that they're renting?
that's true.
Their assets, that could be a big asset.
Second
Well,
homes.
They didn't qualify with a circuit breaker if they have an apartment.
Yeah, right. Good point.
They
I'm just
what?
trying to think, I'm thinking out of the box. I'm trying to think about any other type of thing they could own. And I just hate to exclude it by defining this as only those 2 items, even though that
So, and so why are we not going to go with business commercial land, Becky?
No, I was just saying if their example, you're not gonna pass a circuit breaker to be eligible for this in the first place if you own an apartment building. I'm not saying
Right.
that there could be
Maybe.
a scenario where it's worth $50,000. But if it's,
Well, then you get back to amount due on mortgage, assessed valuation and amount due on mortgage. And it may be their only source of income. I don't know. I think
I
it's-
hate the limited definition of anything, because if there is something else that falls into it, we'll miss it. I mean, basically, it's land and structures. You know, I'm looking at a website here for the definition, and they all seem to be consistently saying land and structures.
Can we say real property apart from primary residence?
other real property aside from primary residence.
Yeah,
Is that a yes from everybody, or
Yes, yes.
Yes,
I'm writing it down so I have it. Other real property, then I'm gonna put in your primary residence. There's room across the page
I
to
did-
do it.
I did find a list of real property, and it's long.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of things you wouldn't think of. I wouldn't think of.
So can we use that as a reference? Where is it? Not that.
No, I wouldn't use it
not
as a
on the
reference, but
application, but I'd like to know it so I know what to look at.
well, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. It's a shed, dam, pond, house, private road, machinery, crops. I mean, some of it makes no sense, but some of it could be real.
Mm-hmm. So
So
we'll leave it
again,
wide open.
where are you,
this one's at Quicken Loans.
George,
I
where are
looked
you
at a whole
getting this
bunch.
from?
On the web.
Okay,
This one's
okay.
Quicken Loans. It came up, I just put in
Okay.
real property defined, and I just got all these sites, and I'm just bopping through them all. But my point is, we shouldn't just limit it to just
Okay.
those 2 things, because there could be other examples. And, people probably wouldn't think of those examples and put them on, but you might have 1 or 2 people that do, and you look at it and say, geez, these guys aren't so much in need of this assistance.
That's what I'm thinking. It's good to leave the category in there because that 250 is at your discretion.
Right. So what did we land on for the
The
wording for this?
category was gonna be other real property than your primary residence. And then I'm gonna I'm changing real estate location to address, assessed valuation, amount due, what was the replacement for
The
amount due on
balance on mortgage? But that's,
balance of mortgage? I'm trying to make it fit in this.
wait a minute.
Can we just take that out, amount due on
Yeah.
mortgage values?
I think that whole
Because
mortgage
it doesn't
thing.
matter. It doesn't
It
matter.
does matter. It
Yeah,
does matter. If you've
it
got
matters on the commercial.
huh?
It matters not on your personal, it matters on the other real
On the
property.
that's right. That's right.
It does, because
Of course, yes,
if it's valued at $250,000 and you owe,
300.
Yeah,
well,
right.
hopefully you don't.
Yeah,
But-
no, it's the net valuation is what is gonna be.
That's right. That's right. So that
So
should
should
be
the
there.
Determine it.
So should the last, instead of just saying values, I think it should say net valuation in that last heading.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a good enough term. Yes, I think most people get it. And if they don't, if you have the first two, you'll be able to do the calculation.
Yeah. And net value I'm gonna take the S off of all of them because.
Well, what about saying remaining principal on mortgage?
Or any remaining principal on anything.
I don't know. I guess that's fine. I think most people would understand any of those terms, really. Outstanding mortgage, mortgage balance. What does the state of Massachusetts like to refer to it as?
Well, I took the information off of the 41C application. I think, let me just check, maybe I messed it up. Let me look.
Right.
Okay, so on this one, they say real estate, domicile, assessed valuation, amount due on mortgage, value, other. Assessed valuation, amount due on mortgage. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah,
Oh, we believe you. I mean, I heard you. Yeah, I mean, what does the average person call it? How about current mortgage loan balance?
That's a lot to fit in my little
Okay.
Yes,
space.
it is. It is.
Yeah.
The word current makes it.
So what was Becky's original wording?
It's
Outstanding loan balance, I think, is what Becky said. And I would, abbreviate BAL.
or outstanding mortgage balance.
I like that, outstanding mortgage balance.
Yeah,
If
I
I
like
can
that.
get enough
That's pretty
lines,
You're gonna have to put the outstanding, you're gonna have to make two rows. Outstanding on the first row and then below it, mortgage balance would be the
if I
best.
can
way
make
to do
my
it.
margins go any smaller.
Some
Yeah,
Little
it's
tight.
really adding another row
Sure,
and
what
just
makes
throwing the
you
word in the right place, which is probably a challenge. It would be for me.
Since what I got was a PDF from Hollis, I believe probably from Holliston. I got it from Becky, who I think got it from a previous administrative assessor who got it, I believe, so I got a PDF and I've been trying to
Leslie,
manipulate that.
I learned how to turn PDFs into Word documents today.
Oh, I had to a long time ago. I had to, but
'Cause
every
I just-
once in a while, something just won't do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
It wants to be itself. I think I'll be able to fit it in. I'll I'll send it out. If anybody doesn't like it, they should call me directly. I'll go over it with Howard and I'll go over it with David, and
Yeah,
it's
that
a lot
sounds
better
perfect.
than last year anyway. And if you think of anything else, same thing, just call or email, but don't email everybody for open meeting law. And
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I have one other question about this, which is the last thing is other personal property.
yes,
That's kind of vague.
For
yes.
What are we actually asking for?
I believe that it is, I think it's on this description here, because I remember, maybe it's on the circuit breaker application, because I remember being asked by someone, does my rowboat count? And I think we're looking for cabin cruisers. So I told him, you don't have to list your rowboat.
No,
No,
Me
but your
check.
cabin cruiser, we want to know about.
Yes, that's the
or
point.
your trailer. Like
Right.
a
Trailer's a
sleeping
good
trailer.
example. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, that's on the previous line, motor vehicles and trailers.
right.
Oh, right.
The boats
Thank
isn't.
And we could expand that to boats, motor
Well,
vehicles and
would it be
boats.
jewelry probably?
Yeah,
Valuable
Gold
paintings?
bricks?
yeah, fine art.
How about, yeah, I'm wondering, I mean, do we want to put a limit on it? Like other personal property over $500, $5,000?
Over 500, yeah,
I'm
That would help.
just
That's,
suggest,
that would simplify it.
it would
yeah,
make
and
the rowboats not come up for question.
That's right.
right, but we'd also be pointing out to people, if you have anything that's a valuable asset, please don't forget it. I don't know,
What's the appropriate amount though?
good question.
5,000's a little high for, I mean, you could have a fur coat that's only 4,000.
Yeah,
We-
5,000
mine-
seems high.
I would say at least $1,000 or something.
I'd be okay with
About
$1,000.
2,000. I mean, a good MacBook is like 1,500.
So what
Yeah.
did we end up
We're
with?
not going to
I'm
ask people to sell their MacBook.
No,
Yeah,
I
but by
think-
the time it's 2 years old, it's depreciated dramatically.
Actually, a lot of people have kayaks and canoes. I mean, do we want to pick those up? Do those
No.
really matter?
no.
Not
Yeah.
taxing them under personal property, so why would we?
Yeah, I'm thinking we should go with a higher number.
Yeah,
So
2,500?
I like that.
do
25,
I hear 25?
2,500,
Going once.
25. Going
That
So
twice.
other personal, is it not other? Can we leave off? Should we say what was the
Yes.
terminology used? Personal property over?
Other
Over-
personal property is what Howard read.
Yes, and that's what's on the application, but I'm trying to figure out what it should say.
I
If you
think
want
other's
it
fine.
left, other personal property over $2,500.
Yeah,
We want to make it clear the total. It's not the total that has to be 2,500. It's that each item, any item that they tell us about has to be over 2,500. So maybe somewhere the word like personal property items over
Other
$2,500
Yeah, objects or no?
Items,
or other
works.
personal items over 25.
$2,500 each.
whoa.
Other personal property valued at over $2,500 each.
Mhm.
Okay. Other items or other personal items or $2,500 each.
I don't know, maybe we should just leave it. And if they call about their rowboat, I'll tell them, no, I'll use your advice
Discretion.
of 2,500.
Well, yeah, with the point is,
Because we don't want them to have 5 diamond necklaces at $1,000 each and not report them because each one's only $1,000. And each gold brick is only 200 and something.
It's worse than that. Yes.
I don't know. Whatever you guys want, I'll try and make it a fit on the line.
Personal property, kind
You know,
and
actually, if they do
description.
have 5 diamond necklaces at 1,000 each, and their total assets are still below $250,000, then yeah, I think we want to give it to them. Either that or we want to lower the total limit.
Well, this is all at your discretion. This is the part that's not written into the statute, and it's all at your discretion. So I think, like George was saying above, you don't want to rule anything out necessarily. I'm leaning back toward maybe just leave it at other personal property,
Properties.
kind and description,
Yes.
such, or maybe other personal property such as art, jewelry,
Hmm.
I would
etc.
say fine art.
Fine art.
Yeah.
Jewelry,
Nikes.
Hmm.
boats.
Michael Jordan cards from 1980.
I'm going to put boats up with the trailers, motor vehicles, comma, boats and trailers. That gets that one up there out of my way. And then I'm going to say other personal property and parenthetically or on the second line, if I can make another second line, such as fine art, jewelry, etc.
Mhm.
Clothing. I don't know. I got my fine jewelry.
We're in mine. It's, yeah, we don't want to make it too complicated on one hand, and we want it to be fair on another. And we don't want it to be draconian. We want people to be able to apply. Just
And you
if
can
they-
rewrite your application each year until we
Yes.
get it straight.
Yeah, let's see how this works.
Exactly.
How what works though?
I
That's
know, you said
So
that.
how the form works, what response you get this year with the changes you've already are comfortable with. So did everybody else feel like taking out the dollar amount helps or not? I
I
know
think
Leslie wants it out.
I like the idea of a dollar amount because if everybody has a lot of personal property. And so how do they decide which personal property items belong there? I mean, I'm not going to put my lawnmower down. So it gives them a clear indication. It's really the valuable stuff. It's the stuff that's material. And really for the purpose of this, it's stuff that they can sell and, put the money in their pocket. That's what this is. Well, to some extent, that's what this is about.
exactly.
So they can pay their property taxes?
Yeah, I know. Really, you
No,
gotta
it
start
isn't.
selling off all your personal property.
This isn't paying. This is getting a discount on your taxes that everybody else is paying for you.
That's
And
true.
that's
Well-
what we have to keep in mind, that
And we
for
don't want
every
the,
dollar you give them, the rest of the town is paying for it. And they are too, but
yeah, so we
Exactly.
basically want to make sure if somebody has a really valuable item, they don't get to benefit from this if they're able to buy something that, of value. Then they're obviously doing all right. I don't know. I really am not sure.
classically, we're not going to run into people like that. Most all of the applications come back none, but you do want to have something in place there.
So of the applications we got last year, did everybody say under personal property, there was none?
You have a list.
didn't
We had
have
no
that
way.
list.
Yeah, there was nothing for them to fill out.
Yeah,
But
this
no,
is
I know people turned away and wouldn't fill it out because of the threat of having to state assets. So, but
Right.
nobody who turned in the form actually provided any assets?
Yes, some of them did on a scrap of paper. People who did not I had a form letter that David had approved asking for a list of your assets. There was a party that backed out at that point, not wanting to list their assets.
Yeah.
And the others,
Hmm.
they didn't have fine art. They had their motor vehicle, which frankly, I think in Shutesbury, everybody needs a motor vehicle. I think I think you would use discretion and say the first one doesn't count. The Rolls Royce does, but the first, Subaru doesn't count.
Subarus don't count.
The
Yeah.
Subaru with the bumper sticker that says my other cars are Rolls Royce.
Yes,
That's right.
we want the value of the Rolls Royce, but not that one. So, this is all your discretion. It's trying to hit all the possibilities so that people don't slip by. There's only a few people that will slip by.
Yeah, we're probably overthinking this. I'd be okay with this the way it is, and let's see what we get next year. And if
Okay.
people call, yeah, let's see what kind of personal property they're thinking about.
But do we have anything on here that says that this is confidential? I mean, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
not published. Where I'm trying to see where that's said.
On the front, probably.
Oops.
Versus.
Yeah, it does. It's a
Oh,
Oh,
big
yeah,
and
it's not
bold.
over. Okay, okay, that's good.
This
it
is
won't
not
be on
open
next
to public
door.
suspension, inspection.
Except for next door
Inspection, I think
Shutesbury.
it probably says it elsewhere too.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. That's pretty clear.
And we know it. And I do tell people when they're applying, if those ever, don't hesitate. Well, can't say don't hesitate, it's up to them, but it is open to inspection by the assessors, and when they ask, it's open
Mhm.
to inspection by the assessors or the administrative assessor.
Right.
And there was one, I think there was one party last year, not last year, another year, that was concerned about me because I was a neighbor. And I absolutely, I said, just send it in a sealed envelope, put the administrator's assessor's name on it. I do not need to see it at all.
Yep. I had to say that to a friend. It's totally confidential. Yes.
But if there's questions and you want to, you three and David are the parties that are eligible to see it. All right, so let me just confirm what I'm going to be correcting. I'm
Okay.
leaving other personal property kind and description alone. And up at the
Yes.
and up
Yes.
at the top, I am oh, here it is. We're changing real estate location to other real property, and then second homes, commercial land, vacant land, etc. in parentheses. And under that,
Mhm.
for location, I'm changing it to address. Assessed valuation is the same. Outstanding mortgage balance on the third, and net value on the fourth heading. I've taken the S off of every heading because really it's the value for that particular line.
Right, that makes
Right.
sense.
And that's it. And I can email that out to you folks after I make those corrections, and you will individually be in touch with me, and I'll go to David and show him what changes have been thought about.
And so this page is the only difference year to
That's
year,
the big difference. I took off the new on the means tested because it's no longer the new.
right? Good point.
Howard had me change a couple of things. They're just little things. Oh, return all the documents. Howard thought the word submit is better.
Mhm.
And this wasn't really clear because it was the colon, but you couldn't even, Howard and myself didn't really even follow it myself. Proof of age. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, proof of age. I pulled everything over to left alignment and numbered them. And then in order to make it all fit, I had to remove the space and put to Board of Assessors. So that's what you got in the second version that went out. Howard had a couple other good suggestions, which I hope I can find. Do you remember them, Howard?
Well, on the second page, it
Yes.
says submit all documentation needed. And then there are the 5 documents that are needed. And then it says to Board of Assessors.
Oh, and I think I put in
so
the,
it's kind of those 2 underlined lines in capitals, they're kind of the same sentence.
and then I added, I think, I don't have the third version in my packet, but I think I added by mail, PO Box 264, hand deliver to the metal box outside in a sealed envelope. And the third was office hours call ahead to make sure someone can receive it.
Yeah, I would change it to submit to Board of Assessors, send to Board of Assessors, and on line 1 at the end, after the zip, put or, right? Well, on line 1, I would put an or at the end of it. Because that's what you're saying, right? Or deposit in the mailbox or hand deliver.
Okay, I missed an or.
As far as the title goes, it's fine the way it is, but I mean, you might want to say send documents to Board of Assessors.
Do you care if it says send or submit, Howard?
Oh, yeah, submit's fine. Yeah, submit makes sense because it says submit all documents as needed. Actually, it makes sense to me the way it is to Board of Assessors.
I'm glad to add in the or. And I don't care if it's submit or send. And the other thing that Howard advised me on, and this shows you just how many stocks, bonds, securities, etc. I had, which I took from the 41C form. Howard had me cross out that and change it to brokerage and retirement accounts. He said that's the only kind people have anymore.
That's much clearer.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I was trying to
And
think
it's
if I had,
consistent.
yeah, if I filled it out, I would not know the answers because it's through a broker. My billions.
Yes.
Okay. So those were the major changes. There probably is some underlinings. I think I had to capitalize something to make it consistent and uncapitalize something, little things.
Okay, but
like
nothing
that.
Are we
material.
ready
It
to
was-
vote? Are we ready?
What?
Okay.
Can I just say how much I appreciate the work that you're doing, Leslie, on all of
Yeah,
this?
I will take it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ditto that, Leslie. Looks great.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I appreciate all the support I get too, and the people who just let me keep trying.
Amen.
Okay, so I'm going to send that out. And then
Okay.
we don't have to vote on
So
that.
we need to vote on that? We
I
have-
don't think
Okay,
so.
fine. Okay, good.
Topics not anticipated.
So is there no 61B? Are there any 61B? That's the next item on the agenda.
Oh, I'm so sorry,
61
Howard. We're
B
15.
applications.
I think I'm done with 15. I think I'm done. I haven't put my chart together, but I think 15, 61Bs, we're done. Oh, and I'm not sending out the certificates until David is here to review my work.
Okay.
Okay. So the connection was bad. So, but my impression is we don't need to vote on any 61Bs tonight. Is that true?
Could you vote that with Leslie's work and David's approval of Leslie's work, you've authorized us to approve there's none of them are new. They're all repeats that you authorize us to send out the certificates, which are running really late now. I should have been working on it in December. And I want them done before the next thing that happens, and it's already started. We've already gotten our preliminary letter from Vadar telling us, asking us to fill out our survey and make sure everything's in order for the preliminary taxes for 25, first quarter 25, which David had intended to get out before he get to Vadar, before he went on vacation, if he still gets to go, and I hope he does. I think he will. I don't know. And then Ellen has to get those bills out and in the mail before the end of June. So please just say, yes, they're standard. You don't need,
Mhm.
if David and I have looked them over and they're all ones that have applied before, nothing new.
That's fine.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
I'm fine with that.
Okay,
Okay.
so is there a number? These are all 61Bs that you want us to
Yes,
approve, right?
1561Bs are ready
Okay.
for certificates to be sent to the owners.
Okay,
And it fortunately, it means no changes in vision because they're all the same from previous years. So
okay,
technically you could wait.
okay.
Please
So I
don't.
move that we approve these 1561B applications.
I'll second that.
As long as David doesn't object to any of them.
Decide.
That's it. As long as, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they're
Okay,
fine.
I vote,
Aye.
I vote aye.
Everett, aye.
And Stein, I.
The motion passes. We have topics not reasonably anticipated. Leslie, there is something, right?
There's more than something now. Yeah. The first something is, this happens once in a blue moon, but the FY24 tax year is based on calendar year 2023, and it's as of January 1st, 2023. There was a second home at the lake that it turns out, Howard, it's slightly different than what I told you on the phone, because I came in the next day and Ellen said, oh, actually, the previous owners had paid the first and second quarters. So it was a second home until September 15th, 2023, when it was sold to a woman who lives there now. So she does not have to pay personal property. So when she got the third and fourth quarters with personal property, she called and said, I live here year round. So the amount, so I talked with Ellen about it, and Ellen said, yeah, we've run into this before. And she and I are both in agreement, and I suspect David would be too, but we have not been able to run it by him, that we should abate the third and fourth quarter personal property, which is a big $24.12, so that she really shouldn't pay it. She lives there. You only pay personal property if it's your second home.
Right. It's
And
24.12 for each quarter
nope,
That's
24.12
in
is
total.
total.
$6.06 or $12.06 each.
Yeah. Okay.
exactly. Yep.
Wow.
She's not going to pay it. She said, I live here. It's not my second home.
Yeah, I'm okay with debating that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you're voting to authorize. Once again, I'm going to hold off a little bit. I'll ask Ellen how long I can hold off to see if David comes in. I'd prefer to have him say, yeah. But if Ellen approves it, I mean, that's as good as I
Well,
can
it sounds pretty cut and dry to me.
It is.
Yes.
It really is. So as I say,
So,
I'll hold off in case David comes in and he says, oh, no, you can't do that. But I don't see that that's going to happen. And
No,
when
I
push
don't
comes
see
to
that.
shove, when Ellen says, I need this, we're just going to do it.
Yes,
Exactly.
especially at that dollar amount. It's just not material enough
Yes.
for anybody to make an issue of it.
Thank
So
you.
do we need to vote on that or just?
Let me look at the form, see if
yeah,
it says.
it's an abatement.
Yeah.
Okay, do we?
It's an
we
It's an
do-
abatement, personal property abatement, and it says the Board of Assessors voted on May 1st, 2024 to allow an abatement of personal property. And then it's for Jennifer Hodgson at 18 King Road, and it's $24.12. So you can all say it individually if you want to. I'm going to put it, like, I'll copy and paste.
So
Okay,
I'll move to accept that abatement
I'll
that
second that.
we've been discussing.
to approve that abatement, but yeah, I second it. Okay. I voted aye.
Hibernidis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
The motion passes.
And then
Is there a second one? Do we have a second?
there's actually three more little ones.
We have
The
something
first
else we have-
one is the all boards meeting is
June
Tuesday,
11th.
June 11th, 6 o'clock.
Yep.
In that we don't know, David might be away. If it's possible, I'll get him to write up a little statement. Otherwise, George should probably, if George and April at least probably be there anyway, right? No.
No, I'm away that.
Okay, I can be there if anybody has questions. Georgia, if you may or may not be there, but I can if needed. It probably, my experience is we're not the biggest committee on the
No.
agenda.
Yeah,
So-
well, it depends if they just want the chairs of the committees there.
No, that was, whoever can represent. We're not just, if your chair is unavailable, that, other people, yeah, whoever can represent. And if
Yeah,
other
as far as I
people-
know, I'll be, all right, well, as far as I know, I'm around, so I certainly would plan on going.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, my plans do change sometimes, but I'm planning
Yep.
on going.
Yep,
Yep.
and I don't think we're gonna be a big loss if we don't show up. I know my experience in the past is there are usually bigger things than us.
Well, the thing,
Sorry.
no, go Vicky.
The one question that maybe as a committee now, just to see if you all agree, is about in the future, moving forward, some committees are saying they want everybody to go back to in-person meetings. Some people are saying they're happy on Zoom, and some committees are demanding the hybrid meetings. But if everybody's hybrid, we don't have enough technology to handle it. So we're trying to get feedback from the committees, what their preference might be for meeting format.
I mean, I would love to meet in person. And Wednesdays I'm working in Amherst till about 6. So it's a little hard for me to get up here for an in-person. I could. The thing I like about in-person is that we could, we could see the documents and hold them, and
Which
this
you
is more
always
convenient.
can anyway. You are welcome
Ex-
anytime.
Exactly. And this is much more convenient.
Zoom is great, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the best way is. It's been so long since I've done it the other way,
Mm,
in person. I mean, although I was at a select board meeting.
that was fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
There used to be methods of if people were on vacation, like I remember Elaine Paleo hiding in the bathroom for months in Europe. So,
Yeah.
but it is so much easier to just not have to be here.
Yep.
Here I am always here. I don't mind because I need everything for assessors, but for historical commission, if I had to drive up here, you know,
I think for this committee, I think online is fine. We don't get other visitors.
No.
And Leslie, you're always willing to show us whatever documents we want to see, so it's not like we're not.
Anytime.
There's other committees though, where I would feel like, you get in a finance committee meeting, we have visitors and we're in some heated conversations. Sometimes it's easier to just, we're missing the body language of the people, and sometimes that's helpful. And we can
sometimes-
interrupt each other easily that way.
Right. We can- Hmm.
Well,
Well-
yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what the crowd says and, what the logic is, what the reasoning is that people give for
Yep.
wanting one
Looking
versus the
for the
other.
assessor's opinion.
Yeah, we like it the way it is.
Yeah, I think it's probably easier.
Howard, are you finding Zoom the best format?
Zoom is fine when it works well. Right now, it's driving me crazy, but when
Right,
it's,
that's
you know,
I
when-
think too.
Wrong time to
I
ask.
mean,
I know, I was like,
Yeah,
I know right now you're struggling, but overall, there are better days.
overall, it's fine. Overall, yeah, no, overall, it's fine. I don't, uh, I happen to live, I'm only 2 miles up from towns. I guess everybody is, but uh, driving into town doesn't seem like it would be that big a deal to me. But this is fine. This works. I'm good.
Okay.
Can I add one other thing, that it sometimes is easier if you have a guest, which we rarely do, for them to attend online if they've got children at home or if they're away.
That is true.
And if it's just in person, minus Howard,
That would be, yeah,
it makes it more of an inconvenience for people to attend who might want to.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think the big advantage of this of online is I travel a fair amount, having kids out of town, and I can always join meetings, and I go to a lot more meetings than I would if they were all in person.
I
Yeah.
do too. Even if I'm just a guest, not even
Now
my
we have
business.
2 Howards.
Yeah, what's going on here? Is he going to come in stereo?
You must have figured something out.
And the other two items were just, Becky and April and George may know the answer to this. The other thing in David's to-do pile was hi Howard. David was supposed to write up a overlay vote for how much to take out of the overlay before, I think maybe before town meeting. I don't
Oh.
understand the overlay. Gail had asked him for information. She had made a recommendation to him. I think he never got a chance to write it up for you guys. Is that a moot point at this point? Has it all happened? Do you guys know the answer to that?
I'm not really sure the
No.
context of it.
No, I don't know what she was asking for, so I don't know what he was asked to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, I thought it was a part of setting the tax rate is when you made that determination.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, it
Okay.
can be done at town meeting, but that would have been, then the town would have done a warrant article.
Right, and we didn't.
Right.
Let me just read what Gail wrote to David and see if it makes sense to you. And this was April 2nd, and he kept saying, I'm going to write something. I'm going to write something. I think they were in full agreement. It says, please have your board release $52,673.73 in overlay to the general fund. Once released, it will leave a balance of $36,001.22 in the overlay account. There is no outstanding real estate or personal property balances from FY22 and prior. So this is all of her work. Why don't I just,
Yeah, so I believe that needed, I don't know for sure. I think if it's not town meeting sensitive, it can still get done.
right, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I'll ask her, but she's not back till Monday.
I was going to ask her, but yeah, same thing.
Yeah, she's in Florida.
In the meantime, should I just scan it and send it to you guys? Because otherwise, I don't think it's worth having a meeting in June if it's not time sensitive, because
It
if
might
they-
be, it might be good to have a meeting in June if it's gonna add 54,000 to free cash.
right,
Yeah,
right.
wouldn't wait.
And this
Wait.
isn't for me to judge. If David's away, he's not going to make a meeting in June.
Well,
So,
and did you email that to him, a
We'll be
copy of
able
it? So
to
he,
talk to them before that and get an explanation. Well, we can get the explanation from Gail anyway, so.
yes, George, Gail wrote this on April 2nd, and he kept triaging it to the back. And then all of a sudden he had some serious personal stuff that he has to attend to.
Yeah,
And he may, I hope he still gets to go on his vacation. And truly the priority for him right now would be to get our information to Vadar before he goes. That's
Yeah.
our big thing. If this isn't time sensitive. And Becky, you'll ask, I'll send
Yeah.
it out to all of you.
Yeah, if you'll email it to
Okay.
me, I'll send it to Gail so she'll have it upon her return with my question. And
Okay. And you can just, if you talk to if it's felt necessary to talk to David,
yeah,
you can
I'll
make that
probably
happen.
I'll check in with you before I call him.
Okay.
Yeah, because we want to not bother him. Bother him
Unnecessarily.
as little as possible.
Exactly. So that was the other thing. And Howard, I think while you were trying to log back in, I mentioned that I've also forwarded you 2 Franklin County Assessors Association functions. One is free. It's a roundtable discussion with the clerks and office personnel, but all assessors are welcome and invited. In Northfield on Tuesday, May something at 10 a.m. I forwarded it to you. That's free. And it's very interesting. I always learn something from those. The other one is a $40 per person buffet at La Terraza, I think it's called. And I think that's more because the clerks like to socialize, and that's helpful, but
Mhm.
I don't really want to give up an evening, and I don't feel like it's worth $40 that I will learn enough to bother with, but you're all invited.
Yeah, I saw those. Thank you for forwarding them.
Yep.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
George,
Okay.
he's gonna fall asleep.
Not yet. The
Okay.
Celtics are going to keep me awake tonight.
I suggest that if the business is done, you think about adjourning.
Let's think about that.
Okay, so do we need to
Don't
schedule,
think too hard.
we have to schedule our next meeting?
Yes.
We need to schedule a meeting?
Tentatively schedule one. Could you do it the last week in June? Because David would be back and I could do it from Cape Cod. I won't come in person for it, but I could probably, if it was just bare bones, this has to be done before the end of the fiscal year.
Wednesday, the 26th.
Yeah. And please cancel, let me cancel it if I can, because I really don't want to spend Wednesday the 26th. But I can.
No. When are you down? Because I'm on the Cape the first 2 weeks in June. Leslie,
And-
when are you down there?
That's April, the last week.
So how about if we pick something in between after between the 15th?
Because David won't be back.
Oh,
until
that's right.
next
That's
week.
right. Blah.
So I would say it's Wednesday, the 26th, and that's all right. If it may not even be necessary, but there could be end of the fiscal year things that really need to be voted on.
Well, and it's far enough out that something might come up by then.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
we
but-
might,
We can, whatever you accumulate, we can clean up then.
All right.
I can give it up. So Wednesday, June 26th at 6:30.
At high tide.
Yeah, high tide. That's right.
Sunset.
Where do you stay at the Cape? You stay in Wellfleet, right?
No,
Yeah.
I stay in Brewster at my first husband's
Oh, that's-
family's place.
That's right. The Nazars.
Perfect.
Okay.
No,
Perfect.
the Abbeys.
Oh, okay. Your
That
first
goes
husband,
back.
you said. Sorry.
Yeah, that's the first one.
And where do you stay, April?
Wellfleet by the sea. It's the old little cottages right on the ocean in Wellfleet. Really
Wellfleet's
funky
beautiful.
little places.
Yeah.
And now my daughter and her husband are buying a house in Eastham, so
Oh, wow. You're
Ooh,
on.
I hope they got an extra room in that house.
they do actually.
Nice.
But anyway, be that as it may. There's
Wow.
other places. Anyway,
So-
Tourism Cape sounds great.
so should we adjourn?
Yes.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, so I second.
I got that.
Arvanitis, aye.
And Stein, aye.
Okay.
7:45.
Night,
passes and we are
everybody.
adjourned. Everybody.
Nice
have
to
a
see you
great-
all. Take care.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you all.
I hope Dave's family feels better soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Bye.
Good night.
Good night, Leslie.